It was Wednesday. Erica Evans sat on a bench in the lobby of Chicago City Hall, her fingers clenched tightly around the copy of her birth certificate. She wasn't here for a divorce. She had come to pick up a form for her brother's marriage license. But just 10 minutes ago, next to a trash can in the waiting area, she had found a crumpled airline receipt. The paper read, Mia Sterling, Ord CDG, AA 150. The date was yesterday. Her husband, Ethan, had said last Friday that he was going to Boston for a 3-day business trip. He was supposed to be on his way back today. On the back of the receipt was a single line of handwritten script, the ink slightly smudged. Ethan, I left the key to the apartment in the usual spot. It was a woman's handwriting. Erica stared at the words, but didn't cry. She calmly took out her smartphone and opened her message thread with Ethan. The last text was from 11 p.m. the previous night. Still in a meeting. Go ahead and sleep. She hadn't replied. Now, she folded the airline receipt, slipped it into her purse, and stood up. A clerk called out, Number 3, Erica Evans? But she didn't turn back. When Erica arrived home, her in-laws were watching TV in the living room. Her mother-in-law, Brenda, was curled up on the sofa, peeling an orange. A trashy reality show about messy relationships was playing on the screen. Her father-in-law, Richard, was smoking on the balcony, his cigarette ash falling into a potted plant. Brenda spoke without looking at Erica. Erica, I made a pot roast for dinner. Make sure you eat a good portion. You need to keep your strength up if you want to have a baby. Erica, who was hanging up her coat, froze. She had been hearing the word, baby, for 3 years. 3 years of marriage. 3 years of constant pressure from her mother-in-law. It was always the same refrain. Don't let yourself get cold. Don't stay up too late. I talked to a psychic who said March of next year is a very fertile time. As if conceiving a child was her responsibility alone. Richard, Brenda, I need to ask you something, Erica said, her voice steady as she walked to the front of the sofa. Only then did Brenda finally look at her. What is it? When Ethan left last Friday, where did he say he was going on his business trip? Brenda's hands, still holding the orange, stopped moving. He said Boston. Why? And when did he say he'd be back? He said he'd be on an afternoon flight today and home for dinner, Brenda said, her brow furrowing. Goodness, are you making us keep tabs on our own son now? Erica said nothing. Her gaze drifted to the kitchen, where the pot roast was simmering on the stove. Her in-laws had lived with them for 3 years. When they got married, Ethan had said it would be just for a little while, since his Ipacker parents were getting older. That little while had stretched into 3 years. In those 3 years, her spare bedroom had become their storage unit, her home office had become Richard's chess room, and her kitchen had to cater to Brenda's dusts. She had asked to move out once. Ethan's response had been sharp. What, you? Don't like my mom's cooking? Or is my dad relaxing at home bothering you? She hadn't said another word that night, suddenly realizing that in this house, no matter what she said, she would always be the bad guy. Erica, did you and Ethan have a fight? Brenda asked, getting up from the sofa. Couples fight all the time. Men are busy with work, so you can't be so demanding. I haven't been demanding. Well, then, it's fine, Brenda said, patting her shoulder. Go wash your face. We'll eat soon. Oh, and were you able to get that form for your brother? Erica didn't answer. She went into her bedroom and closed the door. She opened the closet and felt around on the bottom shelf. There was a metal box where she kept mementos from their wedding. A copy of their marriage license, a wedding invitation, the reception menu, and a single photograph. In the photo, Ethan was smiling, hugging a woman under the Eiffel Tower. It was his first love, Mia Sterling. Erica knew this woman. A week before the wedding, Ethan's phone had buzzed. She'd glanced at it. The sender was Mia. The message was just one sentence. Be happy, Ethan. Erica had asked him who she was. He said she was just an old friend. When she pressed further, he clammed up. His silence was more unsettling than any excuse. But at the time, Erica didn't make a scene. The invitations were sent, the venue deposit was paid, and both families had already met. She had told herself, everyone has a past. Now, she placed the photo and the airline receipt side by side. Paris. The Eiffel Tower. AA 150. Mia Sterling. As the puzzle pieces fell into place, a laugh escaped her lips. The business trips he always talked about were trips to Paris. The meetings he was always in were moments spent by her side. The marriage she had believed in was, from start to finish, one colossal joke. Her phone buzzed. A text from Ethan. Plane just landed. Anything you want for dinner? I can pick it up. Erica stared at the screen. She wanted to ask, are you picking it up from Boston, or from Paris? But she didn't send it. She replied with a single word. Okay. Then she stood up and opened the bedroom door. In the living room, Brenda was setting the table, and Richard was coming in from the balcony with a cigarette still in his mouth. Richard, Brenda, Erica said, standing at the entrance to the dining room. After dinner, I have something to talk to you about. What is it? Brenda asked. I'll tell you after we've eaten. She didn't want to say something that would make them lose their appetite, even if what she was about to do was far worse than that. The dinner table was silent. The pot roast was tender and the broth was rich. Brenda was an excellent cook. Erica had to admit that. Eat more, Erica, Brenda said, placing a piece of beef on her plate. You'll have a hard time getting pregnant if you're so thin. Erica didn't respond. After 3 bites of rice, she put down her fork. I'm finished. Is that all you're eating? Brenda asked, frowning. Brenda, you said you had something to discuss after dinner, Richard prompted. Brenda and Richard exchanged a look. Go on, then. I need you to leave this house today. Brenda's fork clattered onto her plate. Richard froze. What did you say? Brenda's voice rose. I need you to leave this house today, Erica repeated, her tone calm. I'll come back now. Pack your things. I'll even call you a cab. Erica Evans. Brenda shrieked, jumping to her feet. What are you talking about? This is my son's house. The deed is in my name, Brenda. Brenda was speechless. The house was, in fact, Erica's property. When they married 3 years ago, her parents had paid the down payment, and the title was registered in her name. She was the one paying the mortgage. Every month, $2,000 of Ethan's salary went to Brenda for living expenses, but Erica had no idea where the rest of his money went. You're kicking us out? Richard said, also standing. Does Ethan know about this? I imagine he will soon. Erica went into her in-laws' room, opened the closet, and began pulling out their clothes. Her movements were swift and devoid of emotion. Brenda followed her, screaming hysterically. Have you lost your mind? Kicking us out when our son isn't even home yet. Brenda, please calm down, Erica said, stuffing clothes into a suitcase. Your son will be home tonight. You can call him and have him pick you up. Or you can take a cab to meet him. Erica zipped up the suitcase and dragged it to the front door. Then she went back, gathered Richard's ashtray and chess set, and packed them as well. The entire process took less than 10 minutes. Brenda stood in the entryway, her body trembling with rage. Richard took out his phone, his hands shaking. Just you wait. I'm calling Ethan right now. Erica didn't stop him. She leaned against the doorframe and watched as her prupso father-in-law made the call. After 3 rings, it connected. Ethan. Richard's voice boomed. What on earth did you do? Your wife is throwing us out of the house. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds. Then Ethan's voice came through. Dad, let me talk to her. Richard handed the phone to Erica. She took it and held it to her ear. Erica, what's going on? Ethan's voice was calm, but a little weary. Whatever it is, let's talk about it when I get home. Please, don't do this. Don't do this? Why are you kicking my parents out? Because I don't want them in my house anymore. Is that your reason? That's the result, Erica said. The reason is something you know best. Silence again. I don't know what you're talking about, Ethan said. Let me talk to my dad again. I'll sort this out. Erica handed the phone back. Richard took it and went out to the balcony, speaking in a hushed tone. Brenda stood in the middle of the living room, tears welling in her eyes. Erica, after everything I've done for you. Brenda's voice trembled. I cooked for you, I cleaned the house for you. Brenda, you have been very good to me, Erica cut her off. But your son has not. What did Ethan ever do to you? He gave you money every month, didn't he? I received the money. Then, why? Brenda, please don't ask anymore. Erica didn't want to explain. It was too exhausting. She couldn't possibly say, your son has been flying to see his first love every time he claimed to be on a business trip. Even if she did, Brenda wouldn't believe her. She would probably say, that's all in the past. Men have social obligations. You're just being narrow-minded. So she kept her mouth shut. Richard came back in from the balcony, his face pale. Erica, Ethan said too. Please calm down, he said. He'll be home tonight to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about, Erica said, pushing the suitcase toward the front door. You two should go on ahead. When Ethan gets here, tell him to come and talk to me. Brenda, the taxi has arrived. Erica opened the door, and there was indeed a taxi waiting in front of the elevator. She had called it from her phone earlier. Brenda looked at her once, her lips moving as if to say something, but in the end, she said nothing. Richard picked up the suitcase and helped Brenda into the Brenda elevator. As the doors closed, Brenda finally broke down, sobbing. What did I ever do to deserve this? Erica stood in the doorway, watching the elevator's floor indicator descend from 10 to 1. Then she closed the door. The house was suddenly quiet. On the 10 to 1 living room table, the orange peels Brenda had left behind remained. In the kitchen, the pot roast was still warm on the stove. On the TV, the reality show was still playing. Erica sat down on the sofa and turned off the TV with the remote. She took out her phone and sent a message to Ethan. Don't come home tonight. After sending Everby Sessions, she felt something was wrong. This was her house. Why should she have to tell him not to come home? She unsent the message and typed a new one. Come home tonight. We need to talk. Ethan replied almost immediately. Okay. Erica stared at that single word. 3 years ago, when she had asked him to marry her, he had answered with that same word. A single word, without even a psyche, period. At the time, she thought it was just him being his usual stoic self. Now, she realized it was a sign of his lack of enthusiasm. From beginning to end, every response he had ever given her was just okay. Not that's great. Not I'd love to, and certainly not I love you. At 8 p.m., when Ethan came home, Erica was sitting on the living room sofa. In front of her lay the airline receipt and the photograph. He walked in and just dropped his suitcase by the door, not even bothering to take off his coat. My parents? He asked. They've left. You really kicked them out? I just asked them to leave for a while. Ethan stood in front of the coffee table, looking down at the items on it. He saw the airline receipt, then the photograph. His expression didn't change. Erica watched his face, searching for a flicker of panic or guilt, but found nothing. He looked as if he were merely observing a piece of paper and a photo. Did you go through my things? He asked. I found the boarding pass at City Hall, Erica said. The photo was already here. Don't you remember? You put it in this box yourself on our wedding day. Ethan was silent for a few seconds. Then he sat down on the sofa opposite her, the coffee table between them, as if they were in a negotiation. What do you want to talk about? He asked. Where were you last Friday? Boston. Flight AA-150 is not a flight to Boston. Ethan was silent. AA-150, O'Hare to Charles de Gaulle, Erica read aloud. Arrival yesterday. How long were you in Paris? 3 days. With whom? A colleague. Is Mia Sterling your colleague? Ethan's brow finally furrowed. Did you look her up? I didn't have to. Erica's voice was thin. I looked up my husband. There's nothing between us. Nothing? So you lie to me and go to Paris for nothing? I thought you would misunderstand if I told you. Erica laughed. A real, audible laugh. The sound finally made Ethan's expression change. He looked out the window. Erica, Mia and I were college classmates. She moved to France, and she needed my help with something. What kind of help? It's personal. What kind of personal matter? Erica Evans, Ethan said her full name, his voice low. Please, just stop. What have I done? Is this fun for you? This interrogation? Yes, it is, Erica said. It's a lot of fun. For the first time in 3 years, of marriage, I feel like we're actually having a conversation. I'm having a great time. Ethan stood up, walked to the window, and turned his back to her. I don't want to fight with you, he said. Just bring my parents back. Whatever the problem is, let's talk about it, just the two of us. They are never coming back. You. Ethan, listen to me carefully. Erica stood up. Her voice wasn't loud, but every word was clear. From now on, I will live in this house alone. Your parents, and you, will not be coming back. Ethan turned to face her. You want a divorce? Do you think we can continue living like this? Why not? Ethan shot back. Just because I saw Mia? Because I didn't tell you? You think that's a small thing? I'm not saying it's small. But it's not enough to get a divorce over. Erica stared at him. A profound exhaustion washed over her. Not a physical tiredness, but a weariness that seeped into her bones. When she married him 3 years ago, she thought she had married for love. Now she realized she had only married a carefully maintained facade. He earned money while maintaining the facade, came home while maintaining the facade, and lived with her while maintaining the facade. But not once had he ever loved her while maintaining that facade. Ethan Cole, can I ask you a question? Go ahead. Why did you marry me in the first place? Ethan didn't answer. He stood by the window, fumbling in his pockets. He seemed to be looking for a cigarette but didn't pull one out. Because you were suitable, he said. Erica nodded. It was the answer she had expected. Because I have a stable job, a clean family background, a calm personality, and I don't seem like the type to cause trouble, she continued his sentence for him. And most importantly, because I wouldn't snoop through your phone or dig into your past, giving you all the freedom you wanted. Erica, and I have done exactly that, haven't I? Erica cut him off. In these 3 years, I have never once looked at your phone. I have never once asked about Mia. Sterling. When you said you were on a business trip, I believed you. But what did you give me? You gave me a mother-in-law who nagged me daily to have a baby. And a father-in-law who smoked in the house and played chess. And you gave me a husband who was perpetually in a meeting. You gave me a house in my name, but not a single day of a real marriage. The living room fell silent. A breeze from the window rustled the airline. Receipt on the table. Ethan stood for a long time. Finally, he said one thing. I'm sorry. Erica shook her head. Don't apologize, she said. An apology is the most useless word in the world. It can't change anything. Then what do you want me to do? I want you to be honest with me. What is your relationship with Mia Sterling? Ethan was silent for a long time. So long that Erica thought he wasn't going to answer. Then he spoke. She was my first love, he said. We dated for 4 years, from my junior year of college until I graduated from grad school. And then? She went abroad to study. Why didn't you go with her? Things were a little tough at home back then. My dad was sick, so I couldn't leave. Erica waited for him to continue, but he said no more. So you broke up, she stated. Then what happened now? Why did she come looking for you? Ethan fell silent again. This time, the silence was even longer. Suddenly, Erica didn't want to know. She was afraid to hear the answer. But she had to ask. She's getting a divorce, Ethan said. She wants to come back to the States to Devers work, so she asked me for advice. To see if I could help her find a good job. And for that, you flew to Paris to see her. I didn't fly there just to see her. I had a project meeting in Paris anyway. I saw her on the side. On the side, Erica said with a bitter laugh. Ethan Cole, do you know what your biggest problem is? You always justify your actions. You went to Paris for a project, and seeing her was incidental. You married me not because you didn't love me, but because I was suitable. You kept secrets from me not because you had something to hide, but because you thought I would misunderstand. She walked closer to him, tilting her head up to look him in the eye. But do you know? All those incidentals and misunderstandings point to one simple fact. You don't care about me. Ethan's gaze finally wavered. He reached out as if to touch her shoulder. Erica took a step back. Don't touch me, she said. From tonight, you will sleep in the guest room. I will sleep in the bedroom. Tomorrow, we will discuss the blow. Divorce papers. I'm not getting a divorce. That's not for you to decide. Erica, please leave. Erica went into the bedroom and shut the door. She leaned against it and slowly slid to the floor. The tears finally came, but she didn't make a sound. She didn't want him to hear her cry. She heard footsteps in the living room. Very light footsteps, as if he were hesitating whether to knock or not. Eventually, the footsteps faded away. Then she heard the guest room door close. Erica took out her phone and opened her chat with her brother, Kevin Evans. She sent a message. "Kevin, can you come with me to a lawyer's office tomorrow?" He replied instantly. "Erica, what's wrong?" Erica thought for a moment and sent 3 words. "Getting a divorce." He was silent for a minute. Then a voice message from Kevin came through. When Erica played it, her brother's calm voice filled the room. "Erica, don't be scared. I'm here for you." Erica placed her phone face down on the floor. She hugged her knees and buried her face in them. At 1 a.m., rain began to fall outside, the drops tapping loudly against the window pane. Erica couldn't sleep. She heard the guest room door open, footsteps move into the living room, and then stop. He was probably standing by the W window, watching the rain. A moment later, she heard the click of a lighter from the balcony. He was smoking. 1 cigarette, then another. At 2 a.m., the rain grew heavier. Erica's phone screen lit up. A message from Ethan. "Are my parents at your brother's place by any chance?" "They're not answering their phones." Erica didn't reply. She found Brenda's number and called it. It went straight to voicemail. Richard's number was the same. She thought for a moment and messaged, "Kevin. Did you get any calls from Ethan's parents?" Kevin replied, "No, why? You can't find them?" "What do you mean, you can't find them?" "I asked them to leave the house, and now their phones are off." A voice message from Kevin arrived, his voice strained. "Erica, what were you thinking, kicking them out in the middle of the night? It's pouring rain out there." Erica didn't respond. For a fleeting moment, she wondered if she had gone too far. But then she remembered the airline receipt and the words, "I left the key in the usual spot." She told herself, "No, I didn't go too far at all." The sound of the rain outside grew even louder. Suddenly, she heard Ethan's voice from the living room, laced with panic. "Dad, where are you?" "Mom, why aren't you picking up?" Erica stood up and opened the bedroom door. Ethan was standing in the middle of the living room, phone pressed to his ear, his face ashen. "Don't move, stay right there." "I'm on my way," he said. "Call a cab, find somewhere to get out of the rain." He hung up and looked at Erica, his eyes filled with accusation. "My parents have been waiting in the lobby of your brother's apartment building for 2 hours, he said. "Are you satisfied now?" Erica said nothing, grabbing her keys and heading for the door. "Where are you going?" Ethan blocked her path. "To pick them up." "Forget it," Ethan said, pushing her hand away. "I'll take them to a hotel. From this day on, they will never set foot in this house again." He stressed the words, "this house." Erica watched, as he put on his shoes, opened the door, and left. As the door was closing, she heard him mutter, "Erica Evans, you are a truly cold woman." She stood at the door, staring at the closed door, and a bitter laugh escaped her. If she were truly cold, she wouldn't have let his parents live in her house for 3 years. If she were truly cold, she wouldn't have endured her mother-in-law's constant pressure to get pregnant. If she were truly cold, she wouldn't have stayed alone in this empty house every time he went on a business trip. She had only become cold today. She had only decided today that she was done putting up with it. At 3 a.m., the rain was still falling. Erica stood on the balcony and saw a taxi pull up at the building's entrance. Ethan got out with an umbrella, helped Brenda into the car, and Richard followed with the suitcase. As the 3 of them got in, the taxi drove away, its taillights gradually disappearing into the rain. Erica suddenly remembered something. Today was their 3rd wedding anniversary. She had even put on special makeup that morning, thinking that when he came home, they could at least have dinner together. Now, the food was cold, and the people were gone. The next morning at 9 a.m., Erica had an appointment with a lawyer in a downtown office in the Loop. The lawyer, Miss Peterson, was someone Kevin had recommended. She was in her early 30s, wore thick-rimmed glasses, and spoke quickly, but her points were sharp and clear. "Erica Evans? Kevin told me about your situation," Miss Peterson said, opening a notebook. "You're seeking a divorce, correct?" "Yes. On the grounds of irreconcilable differences and a breakdown of trust." Could you be more specific? Erica placed the airline receipt and the photograph on the table. Miss Peterson glanced at them once, but didn't ask for details. Do you have any requests regarding the division of assets? The house is in my name, so I will keep it, Erica said. The car is his, so he can have it. Savings can be split 50-50. I have no other demands. I'm not asking for alimony. Miss Peterson adjusted her glasses. Miss Evans, I'll be frank with you. If these are your only grounds for divorce, it is possible, but receiving additional spousal support will be difficult. Legally, meeting with a first love is not way considered adultery, and going to Paris without telling your wife is unlikely to be seen as legal grounds for a fault-based divorce. I understand. And you still wish to proceed? Yes. Miss Peterson studied her for a few seconds, then nodded. Very well. I will draft a divorce settlement agreement. If your husband signs it, we're done. If he refuses, we'll have to file a lawsuit. The separation period would need to be 6 months before the court would grant the divorce decree, Miss Peterson added. 6 months. Erica looked down. 6 months was still too long. She didn't want to wait another day. Is there a faster way? She asked. Miss Peterson said, find evidence of his infidelity. Beyond just meeting his first love, proof of cohabitation, financial exchanges, or messages containing SAR5 expressions of affection. I don't have any. Then you'll have to wait. Erica was silent. Miss Peterson looked at her, and then added, Miss Evans, let me tell you something. The most terrifying thing in a marriage isn't infidelity, but a long, drawn-out limbo. What might be unbearable for you might be tolerable for him. So, you need to think carefully. Do you want speed, or do you want fairness? I want freedom. Then we'll go for speed, Miss Peterson said. I'll have the agreement ready for you tomorrow. Tell him to sign it. If he doesn't, you move out and start the dash and start clock on the separation period. Erica nodded. After leaving the law office, she received a text from Ethan. My parents are at a hotel. When do you have time? I need to talk. She replied, tonight, 8 p.m., at the house. After sending the message, she stopped by a supermarket. She bought groceries and a bottle of wine. She wasn't sure what she was doing. She was about to get a divorce, yet she was preparing a final meal. Perhaps she just wanted to have one last proper conversation. Not an interrogation, not a fight, but a proper goodbye. At 7:30 p.m., Erica finished preparing dinner. She prepared all of Ethan's favorites: roast chicken with mashed potatoes, green beans, and a simple tomato soup to start. She set the table, poured wine into 2 glasses, and sat down to wait. At 8 p.m. sharp, the doorbell rang. Erica opened it to find Ethan standing there. He had changed into clean clothes, and his hair was still damp. It was clear he hadn't slept much, with dark circles under his eyes. Come in, Erica said, stepping aside. Ethan took off his shoes and walked into the dining room. He stopped for a moment when he saw the food on the table. You made this? He sat down, but didn't pick up his fork, just stared at the food. Erica sat down as well and picked up her wine glass. A drink? She asked. Ethan looked at her, then picked up his glass and lightly clinked it against hers. They each took a sip, saying nothing. The living room was quiet, with only the sound of the wall clock ticking. Erica, Ethan spoke first. I want to apologize for last night. What are you apologizing for? For hiding the trip to Paris from you. And for leaving you to deal with my parents' situation alone. Erica didn't answer. But, Ethan changed the subject, you shouldn't have kicked them out in the middle of the night. It was raining, and they're elderly. So it was my fault. I'm not saying it was your fault, but there were other ways to handle it. What other ways? Erica put down her wine glass. If I had told you to your face, while you were here, that I wanted your parents to leave, would you have agreed? Ethan was silent. You wouldn't have, Erica answered for him. You would have said, we're all getting along, why do they have to leave? Where would they go? Did they do something to bother you? Of course not. Isn't that right? Yes, it is. Erica laughed. They were a bother. Having them live in our house for 3 years was a bother. Your mother nagging me every day to have a baby was a baby bother. Your father smoking in the office and staining the wallpaper was a father bother. The fact that this house never once felt like my own was a bother. Ethan put down his fork. This house is your house. The house was mine, but the home was not, Erica said. Ethan Cole, do you have any idea how I've lived for the past 3 years? Every time you went on a personate business trip, I slept alone in this bed, terrified by every little noise outside. When your mother said my cooking was too salty, I used less salt. When your father told me not to work late, I came home as early as I could. I turned myself into a model daughter-in-law. But did you ever once ask me if I was happy? Ethan looked down. I asked myself, Erica continued. Every single night, I asked myself, Erica Evans, are you happy? And the answer was always, I'm okay. Okay, is not happy enough. Okay, just means I'm surviving. Erica picked up her wine glass and drained it in one go. I don't want to just survive anymore, she said. Let's get a divorce. Ethan looked up at her. I won't. Why not? You still want to live with me? What do you want to live for? Erica's voice suddenly rose. Do you want to live those okay days with me? Do you want me to continue being your shield? To protect you from your mother, from Mia Sterling, from everything you don't want to face? I already explained about Mia. You didn't explain it properly. What more do you want to know? I want to know, Erica glared at him. If I hadn't found that airline receipt, how long were you planning to deceive me? Ethan was silent. You were going to deceive me for the rest of your life, weren't you? That's right, isn't it? Erica said. Every time you said you were going to Boston, you were actually going to Paris. Every time you said you were in a meeting, they were actually with Mia Sterling. You were planning to deceive me for the rest of our lives. I wasn't trying to deceive you. You may not have been trying to, but you did, didn't you? Erica stood up. Ethan Cole, do you know what hurts me the most? It's not that you went to see Mia Sterling. It's the fact that you could have been honest with me, but you chose to lie. Because you don't trust me at all. You don't believe I would accept it, you don't believe I would understand. You treated me like a child, you had to protect, but you seem to have forgotten. I'm your wife. Ethan stood up too. I never treated you like a child. Then what did you think of me as? I'm your. He stopped himself. Erica waited for him to say the next word, but he didn't. She suddenly realized. He couldn't even bring himself to say the word wife. Because in his heart, his wife was Mia Sterling, and she was just his spouse in the legal sense. It's fine, Erica shook her head. You don't have to say it. I've had the agreement drawn up by a lawyer. I'll show it to you tomorrow. If you agree, you sign it. If you don't, we separate and file for a lawsuit. She turned to leave. Suddenly, Ethan grabbed her wrist. Erica, please, just give me one more chance. Erica looked down at his hand. It was cold and trembling slightly. She had never seen Ethan like this. He was always calm, composed, unshakable. But now, he was pleading with her. Just 3 months. Give me 3 months, he said. I'll sort everything out in 3 months. I'll have my parents move out, and I'll be completely honest with you about Mia. So please, let's start over. Erica pulled her hand away. Ethan Cole, do you know why relationships break? It's not because of a single betrayal or a single fight. It's because of an entrail. Accumulation of disappointments. You reach a point where you can never go back. For me, that moment was yesterday. The moment I saw that airline receipt. Please leave, she said. I'll send you the agreement through my lawyer tomorrow. She went into the bedroom and closed the door. This time, she didn't cry. She just stood by the window, staring at the city lights. The rain had stopped, but the ground was still wet. The streetlights reflected in the puddles, shattered into 1,000 pieces. Her phone buzzed. A message from her brother, Kevin. Erica, the lawyer said the agreement is all drafted. He'll send it over tomorrow. She replied, okay. Another message. Erica, are you really sure about this? She thought for a moment and sent 3 words. Yes. I'm sure. She put her phone down and heard the front door close. Ethan was gone. She opened the bedroom door and walked to the dining table. The food was mostly untouched, the wine half drunk. She sat down and, using the fork Ethan had used, picked up a piece of chicken. It was cold and tasted slightly off. She chewed it a couple of times but couldn't swallow, spitting it out into a napkin. Then, she threw all the food from the table into the trash. She put the plates and forks in the sink and poured the wine down the drain. After she had finished, she stood in the kitchen, looking at the empty stove. Suddenly, she felt a hollow sense of release, as if something that had been pressing on her chest for a long time had finally disappeared. She could breathe. The next afternoon, Miss Peterson sent the divorce agreement to Erica's phone. She forwarded it to Ethan with a single sentence. "Read it. If there are no issues, please sign." There was no reply from Ethan. After waiting 2 hours, she sent another message. "It's fine if you don't reply. I'll have the agreement sent to your office by certified mail." This time, a reply came. "I'm downstairs at your office. Come down. I want to talk." Erica went to the window and looked down. Ethan's car was parked on the side of the road, and he was leaning against the car door, smoking a cigarette. She hesitated for a few seconds, then went downstairs. "Did you see the agreement?" Ethan asked, putting out his cigarette. "The house is yours, the savings are split, the car is mine. You've really got it all sorted out neatly. But I don't agree. I already told you the reason." "Give me another chance," he said. Erica looked at him. The afternoon sun was harsh. She squinted. His face was expressionless, but his fingertips were lightly tapping along the seam of his pants. It was a habit he had when he was nervous. "Ethan Cole, I did give you a chance," she said. 3 years, over 1,000 days. You had a chance every single day. But you chose silence. My choice was wrong." "Yes, it was wrong," Erica said. "But if you make a mistake, you have to accept the consequences. You're not a child. Just because you say you're sorry doesn't mean everything can be undone." Ethan was silent for a few seconds. "Then what do you want me to do? Do you want me to get on my knees and beg?" "I don't want you to beg," Erica said. "I just want you to sign." "I won't. Then I'll file for a lawsuit." "Even if you file, I won't agree." Ethan's voice became low. "Erica Evans, listen to me. I don't want a divorce, not because I need a spouse in the legal sense. It's because I still love you." Erica stood there, stunned. In 3 years, it was the first time he had said he loved her. Not suitable, not okay. But the words came far too late. "What do you love about me?" she asked. Ethan opened his mouth, then closed it. "See?" Erica laughed. "You can't even say what you like about me. Because you've never seriously thought about it. You just don't want to lose your stable life. You're just afraid that after the divorce, there will be no one to deal with. Your mother, no one to manage this house, and no one waiting for you when you come home from a business trip. That's not it. Then what is it?" Ethan looked at her, his gaze complex. "Every morning when I wake up and you're next to me, the rest of the day doesn't seem so hard." Erica's heart skipped a beat. Of all the things he had ever said, this was the closest to a declaration of love. But then, another thought came to her. "Then, what about Mia Sterling?" she asked. "Every morning, you wake up with me next to you, yet your phone has messages from her, and your airline receipt has her address on it. Don't you think that's a contradiction?" Ethan looked away. "I told you, there's nothing between us." "Nothing?" Erica continued. "You said that. But those 2 words, nothing, there, hurt me more than if there had been something. Because something at least means you still have feelings. But nothing means you were just killing time. I never thought of you as a way to kill time." "Then tell me. When you flew to Paris and spent the night at her house, what did you talk about?" Ethan's expression changed. "How did you know I stayed at her house?" "Because on the back of the airline receipt, it said, I left the key in the usual spot," Erica said. "Did you think I was an idiot?" Ethan was silent. This time, the silence was very long. Erica thought he would just leave, but he didn't. He leaned against the car door and lit another cigarette. "She's getting divorced," he finally said. "She was pretty down. I went to see her because she helped me a lot back in the day. In college, when my family was struggling, she was the one who lent me money for tuition. You should repay that debt." "You can repay a debt," Erica said. "But you didn't have to hide it from me. I thought you would misunderstand." "You always say that," Erica said with a bitter laugh. "But have you ever thought that the more you hide, the more I'll misunderstand?" Ethan smoked his cigarette, saying nothing. Ethan Cole, one last question, Erica said. Answer me honestly. What is it? Do you still have feelings for Mia Sterling? The hand holding the cigarette paused for a fraction of a second. That was all. The answer Erica needed. You don't have to say it. She turned to leave. Erica. She stopped, but didn't turn back. I do, Ethan's voice came from behind her. But it's not the kind of feeling you're thinking of. Then what kind of feeling is it? Guilt. Erica closed her eyes. The word guilt was heavier than love. Because love can fade, but guilt never does. Guilt makes a person unable to forget another. For a lifetime. Guilt makes a person want to rush to help every time they see the other person suffering. Guilt makes one person in a marriage forever second. Plus. Ethan, Erica turned and looked at him. Do you know, if I were Mia Sterling, I would think you were a good man. Loyal, and grateful for past kindnesses. But I'm not Mia Sterling. I'm your wife. So I think you're a terrible man. Ethan put out his cigarette and walked to stand in front of her. So close that she could smell the smoke and cologne on him. Erica, just give me 3 months, he said. In 3 months, I will completely sort things out with Mia. And then we can start over. How are you going to completely sort things out? I'll tell her clearly not to contact me again. Can you do that? I can. Erica looked at him. A thought occurred to her. When you went to Paris, this time, where did she stay? In her own apartment. Where did you sleep? At her place. In the guest room. Erica took a deep breath. Ethan Cole, do you think it's appropriate for a married man to stay at his first love's house? I wasn't thinking that deeply about it at the time. You never think deeply, Erica said. Because you don't care at all what I think. She turned and started walking away. This time, she didn't look back. From behind her, she heard Ethan's voice. Erica, I'll prove it to you. She ignored him and walked into the lobby of her office building. The tears finally fell. It wasn't sadness. It was anger. Anger that he could have done better, but chose the most hurtful way. Anger that he did it, knowing she would be sad. And anger at herself for being swayed by his one sentence. Every morning. When I see you, the day doesn't seem so hard. The elevator arrived. She got in and pressed the button for her floor. As the doors closed, she saw Ethan still standing outside, looking at her. His gaze held something she couldn't understand. For the next week, Erica didn't see Ethan. But he sent her a message every day. 8 a.m. Good morning. 12 p.m. Make sure you eat lunch. 10 p.m. Good night. Nothing else. It was like he was just checking in. Erica never replied. But she read every message. On Friday night, her brother Kevin came over for dinner. Erica made a few dishes. They sat across from each other at the table. Erica, are you really going through with the divorce? Kevin asked. What did Ethan say? He doesn't agree. So, what are you going to do? I'll have to file a lawsuit. Kevin took a bite of food and chewed slowly. Erica, to be honest, Ethan's not a bad guy. Erica put down her fork. But he's not a good guy for you, either, Kevin continued. He thought of you as his wife, but he never thought of you as the person he loved. That's a different thing. Erica looked at her brother. Kevin was 3 years younger than her, but sometimes he seemed much more practical. When did you get so mature? She asked. Watching you and Ethan for the past 3 years, I could tell, Kevin said with a wry smile. Erica, do you know what the biggest problem between you two was? It wasn't Mia Sterling or your in-laws. It was that you two never fought. Not fighting is a bad thing? Not fighting means you don't want to solve problems, Kevin said. Every time a problem came up, you would endure it, and he would avoid it. You endured until you couldn't take it anymore, and he avoided and avoided until he couldn't, and then it all exploded at once. Like you kicking out your in-laws. Erica was silent. Her brother was right. She had been enduring for a long time. She had only stopped yesterday. Erica, I'm not saying you shouldn't get a divorce, Kevin said. I'm just saying that whether you get a divorce or not, you should get everything out in the open. I don't mean you should fight with him, but you should tell him everything you're truly feeling. That way, you can really move on without any regret. Erica nodded. After dinner, Kevin left. She washed the dishes, scrubbed the stove, and cleaned the floor. When she was done, she sat on the sofa and opened her phone. Ethan's message had arrived, right on time. Good night. She stared at those 2 words for a long time. Then she typed 4 words. I want to talk. He replied immediately. Okay. When? Tomorrow afternoon. 3 p.m. The usual place. The usual place was a cafe they used to frequent when they were dating. It was on a small side street on the west side of town, a quiet little shop. They hadn't been there in over a year. The next day at 2:50 p.m., Erica arrived. Ethan was already there. He was sitting at a table by the window, with 2 cups of coffee in front of him. One was a black Americano, his. The other was a latte, hers. He still remembered her preference. Erica sat down, but didn't touch her coffee. Ethan Cole, the reason I asked you here today is to speak plainly. Go ahead. First, I want a divorce not because of Mia Sterling, but because our marriage itself was flawed. You didn't love me, and I don't love you anymore. We were just keeping up appearances. Ethan opened his mouth to say something, but Erica held up a hand to stop him. Second, I don't hate you. You just did what many people would do. Marry someone suitable, and miss the one you loved but who wasn't suitable. It may be immoral, but it's not illegal. Third, I won't wait for you anymore. Whether you sort things out with Mia Sterling or not, whether you change or not, I won't wait. I've waited for 3 years. That's enough. She finished speaking, picked up her coffee, and took a sip. It was cold and bitter. Ethan looked at her, silent for a long time. Are you finished? He asked. Yes. Then it's my turn to speak. Erica put down her cup. First, it's not that I didn't love you, Ethan's voice was clear. I just didn't know how to love. For the years my dad was sick, my mom cried every day, and I just shuttled between the hospital and the office. I never learned how to be gentle with someone. I only learned how not to worry people. Second, about Mia, I admit I handled it badly. But I didn't do anything I shouldn't have with her. That night at her place, I slept in the guest room, she slept in her bedroom. We just talked about her divorce and her desire to come back to the States. The next day, I left immediately. Third, I don't want a divorce not because of habit or because I want you to deal with my mom. It's because the only time in my life I've ever felt truly at peace is when you're by my side. He paused, looking down. I know this sounds like an excuse. But everything I've said is the truth. Erica looked at him. His fingers were tapping the seam of his pants again. Nervous. He was truly nervous. Ethan Cole, I believe what you're saying, Erica said. But believing and accepting are 2 different things. Your not knowing how to love is your action problem, not mine. You may not have done anything you shouldn't have, but you didn't do anything for me either. You may have been at peace by my side, but you never asked if I was at peace by yours. Were you not at peace? What do you think? Erica countered. A husband who is perpetually on a business trip. A husband who always sides with his mother-in-law. A husband with his first love forever living in his heart. Do you think I was at peace? Ethan was silent. So let's just end it, Erica said, standing up. Sign the agreement. Let's part amicably. She turned to leave. Erica Evans. She stopped. If I give you my shares in the company, if you take the house and all the savings, and I walk away with nothing, will you give me one more chance? Erica turned back. Are you negotiating terms with me now? I want to show you I'm serious. Seriousness can't be bought with money, Erica said. Seriousness would have been not deceiving me from the start. It would have been siding with me when your mother was pressuring me about having a baby. It would have been telling me, before you went to Paris, Erica, I'm going to see Mia, but it's not because I love her. You didn't do any of those things. What do you think you can change? Now with company shares and a house? What do you think you can change? Ethan stood up. Then what do you want me to do? I want you to sign. Nothing else. Erica took a deep breath. Then answer one question. Go ahead. Did you ever love me? Even for a moment? The cafe was silent. The sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating Ethan's face. His expression was calm, but his eyes were red. I did, he said. I still do. Erica looked at him, searching his eyes for any sign of a lie, but found none. His eyes were as clear as they were 3 years ago when he proposed. But your love is too light, Erica said. Lighter than your guilt for Mia. Sterling, lighter than a word from your mother, lighter than your job. Your love is just a small part of your life. But what I want is all of it. She turned and walked away. This time, she was really leaving. When she stepped out of the cafe, the sunlight was blinding. She shielded her eyes with her hand. Her wedding ring was still on her finger. She pulled it off and clenched it tightly in her palm. The ring dug into her skin, but she didn't let go. Standing on the street corner, Erica put the ring in her purse. Her phone vibrated. A message from Miss Peterson. Ethan Cole has signed the divorce agreement. It just arrived at my office. She stood frozen. He signed it? Hadn't he just said he wouldn't? She called Miss Peterson. Miss Peterson, did he really sign it? This morning. He signed it and had it messengered over, Miss Peterson said. And he added a supplementary agreement. What kind of agreement? He's transferring his entire share of the condo in his name in Lincoln Park, to you, Miss Evans. Erica's hand holding the phone trembled. That condo had to be worth at least $500,000. Why would he do this? Miss Evans, would you like to see the agreement? I can send it to you. Please send it. Miss Peterson sent a PDF file. Erica opened it and scrolled to the last page. In the signature line, the name Ethan Cole was written in a strong hand. The pen had almost torn through the paper. The supplementary agreement read, I, Ethan Cole, voluntarily gift my entire share of the property located in Lincoln Park, registered in my name, to Erica Evans, as compensation for the duration of our marriage, with no conditions attached. She stared at the words. She remembered what he had said in the cafe. I'll walk away with nothing. She had thought it was just words, but he had actually done it. Her phone vibrated again. This time, a message from Ethan. Signed the PAIMA agreement. The house and savings are all yours. I'll take the car. Take care. A short sentence. No punctuation. Just like that okay from 3 years ago. Erica stood on the sidewalk, looking at the message. The sun reflected off the Taliba phone screen, making her eyes hurt. She suddenly wanted to cry, but she held it in. She replied with just 2 words. You too. Then she deleted his contact. She deleted their entire chat history. She deleted 3 years of their marriage. In the first week after the divorce, Erica was fine. She packed up all of her in-laws' belongings and had them couriered to Ethan's office. She redecorated the bedroom, changing the bedding and curtains. She repainted the office, bought a new desk, and prepared to make it her own workspace. She also signed up for a yoga class, going 3 times a week. Kevin came to see her and said, Erica, you look so much better. She laughed. Do I? Yeah. You don't look so tense anymore. Erica looked in the mirror. The fine lines around her eyes were still there, but her gaze had changed. Before, it was tired, hesitant, always watching other people's reactions. Now, it was empty, but at least it was her own. On the 10th day, she received a phone call from an unknown number. Hello? Is this Erica Evans? Yes, it is. Hi. My name is Mia Sterling. Erica's grip on the phone tightened. What can I do for you? I'd like to talk to you for a moment. I don't think we have anything to talk about. It's about Ethan, Mia said. I think there's something you don't know. Erica wanted to hang up, but her curiosity got the better of her. What is it? I'd like to talk in person. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., at the cafe downstairs from your office. How do you know where my office is? Mia laughed lightly. Ethan told me. Erica was silent for a few seconds, then said, All right. I'll see you tomorrow. She hung up and sat on the sofa, staring at the ceiling. Why did Mia Sterling want to see her? To explain? To apologize? Or to gloat? Whatever it was, she wasn't afraid. She was already divorced, she had nothing left to lose. The next day at 3 p.m., Erica arrived at the cafe. Mia was already there. She was thinner than in the photo, but still beautiful. She wore a white shirt and had her long hair down, giving off a clean, fresh vibe. She was the kind of woman it was hard to hate. Erica Evans, Mia stood up. Please, have a seat. I ordered you an Americano. Erica sat down and looked at Mia. What is it you wanted to talk about? Mia took a folder of documents out of her bag and placed it on the table. Please take a look at this. Erica took the documents. They were hospital medical records. Patient name, Ethan Cole. Diagnosis, acute myeloid leukemia. Date, 2 years ago. Erica's hands began to shake. He's sick? He was diagnosed 2 years ago, Mia said. He's been undergoing chemotherapy. Ever since. Erica's mind went blank. Leukemia? Ethan? How? Why didn't he tell me? He said it would worry you, Mia said. He said you were a worrier, and you would cry if you knew. He didn't want to see you cry. Erica shook her head. That can't be. He was fine 2 years ago. He was going on business trips. The business trips he talked about were always for his chemo treatments. Mia cut her off. He wasn't coming to see me. Erica was stunned. Then, Paris? That was last month, Mia said. The chemo wasn't working as well as it should, and his doctor suggested seeking treatment abroad. I helped him research hospitals in France. Why wouldn't he tell me? He probably thought you couldn't handle it, Mia said. He said he was going to tell you once his condition stabilized. Tears streamed down Erica's face. The airline receipt, the note I left the deputy's key in the usual spot, flashed in her mind. Then, the note you wrote? That was for him, Mia said. I was telling him the key to my apartment was in the usual spot, so he could let himself in. I was on a night shift at the time. Hospital that night, so I wasn't home. Erica covered her mouth to keep from sobbing out loud. Erica, the reason I called you today wasn't to make excuses for him, Mia said. It's because I don't think you should hate him. You don't have to love him, but please don't hate him. For the past 3 years, he's been suffering more than you have. Why? Why did he get a divorce? Erica's voice trembled. He signed the papers and walked away with nothing. Because he felt guilty, Mia said. He felt that after deceiving you for 3 years, he no longer had the right to live with you. Erica shot up from her seat. Where is he? Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Hematology Department. Erica ran out of the cafe and hailed a cab. Northwestern Memorial, please. The driver stepped on the gas. She sat in the back seat, tears streaming down her face. Ethan's words, every morning when I see you, the day doesn't seem so hard, echoed in her mind. She had thought it was a declaration of love, but it was a literal fact. He was waking up every morning, not knowing how much longer he had to live. But she had never once asked him if he was okay. She had only cared about whether he loved her, whether he had deceived her. She had never once cared about the fact that he was sick. At the hospital's hematology ward, Erica opened the door to his room. Ethan was lying in bed, hooked up to an IV. He was terribly thin, his face pale, his eyes sunken. When he saw Erica, he froze. Why are you here? Mia called me. Ethan closed his eyes. She shouldn't have. She should have, Erica said, approaching the bed. You should have been the one to tell me. Ethan opened his eyes and looked at her. I'm sorry. Don't apologize, Erica said, sitting in a chair. Tell me honestly. How bad is it? Ethan was silent for a few seconds. It's intermediate stage. The doctor said. There's still a chance. The chemo isn't very effective. So, why France? There's a new drug there, still in the clinical trial phase, Ethan said. Mia looked it up for me. Erica took a deep breath. How long were you planning to hide this from me? Until you didn't need me anymore, Ethan said. I thought you would be happier if you divorced me. I didn't want to burden you with my problems. Ethan Cole, are you an idiot? More tears fell from Erica's eyes. I'm your wife. Did you really think I could be happier if you were sick and didn't tell me a single word? We're already divorced. Even if we're divorced, I can still worry about you. But I don't want you to worry, Ethan's voice was frail. Erica, I deceived you. For 3 years. I don't deserve to have you take care of me. Erica took his hand. It was cold and bony. He seemed even thinner than when she had last seen him. Ethan Cole, listen to me, she said. I haven't submitted the divorce agreement to the city yet. And I might not. Ethan looked at her. Why? Why would you do that? Because I haven't decided whether to get a divorce or not. Before, I didn't know you were sick, Erica cut him off. Now that I know, I have to reconsider. Ethan closed his eyes. A tear rolled down from the corner of his eye. It was the first time Erica had ever seen him cry. The first time in 3 years. "Don't cry," she said. "If you cry, you'll make me want to cry too." They sat like that, holding hands, saying nothing. The room was quiet, with only the sound of the IV dripping. After a while, Ethan spoke. "Erica, what if my illness? What if I don't get better?" "There's no what if," Erica cut him off. "You just focus on getting better. I'll be by your side." "You don't hate me?" "I do hate you," Erica said. "I hate that you deceived me, that you didn't treat me like your wife. But we can talk about that later. Right now, you just need to get better." Ethan opened his eyes and looked at her. A light shone in his eyes. A light Erica hadn't seen in a very long time. The last time she saw it was 3 years ago, when he proposed. "Okay," he said. It was that same okay she had always heard. But this time, the single word sounded different to Erica. Not like a lack of sincerity, but like a promise. Erica moved back into their home. Not her house, but Ethan's apartment. The signed divorce agreement remained in a drawer, unfiled. She went to the Damas.R. hospital every day, sat with him during his IV treatments, talked to him, and accompanied him to his tests. The nurses told her to go home and get some rest, but she refused. "I'm not just a visitor," she said. "I'm his wife." Her in-laws came too. Brenda looked haggard, her hair completely white. When she saw Erica, she came over and took her hand. "Erica, I was wrong." Erica shook her head. "Brenda, please don't say that. I was the one who pressured you to have a baby, not knowing that Ethan was sick," Brenda cried. "He made me do it. He didn't want you to realize it's a problem with him." Erica was stunned. "He made you?" Brenda wiped her tears. "He told me he might never be able to give you a child. So he told me to pressure you, to put the blame on me. That way, you would never suspect that there was a problem with him." Erica stood at the door of the hospital room, looking at the sleeping Ethan. Tears streamed down her face. How many burdens had this man been carrying, hidden from her? He didn't tell her about his illness, and he pushed the fact that he might not be able to have children onto his mother. When he went to Wachel, Paris for chemo, he said it was a business trip. He shouldered all the suffering, alone, trying to show her only a calm facade. And yet, she had been grilling him about whether he loved her, whether Mia Sterling was still in his heart. She had never once considered that he might not even have had the energy to love. "Brenda, go inside and sit with Ethan," Erica said. "I'm going to talk to the Sive doctor." She found the head physician. "Doctor, is there any hope for Ethan Cole's illness?" The doctor adjusted his glasses. "His condition isn't bad, but he needs a bone marrow transplant. Have you found a donor?" "We're still in the tissue typing stage. All his siblings have been tested, but none are a match." "Can I be tested too?" The doctor looked at her. "What is your relationship to the patient?" "I'm his wife. The chances of a match for an unrelated donor are very low." "I still want to try." The doctor nodded. "All right. We'll draw your blood and run the test." Erica had her blood drawn and sat in front of the lab, waiting for the results. She took out her phone and sent a message to Ethan. "Just had my blood drawn. They're testing to see if I can be a bone marrow donor for you." Ethan replied immediately. "No." "Why not?" "It will hurt. I don't want you to be in pain." Erica stared at the words, her heart warming again. "Ethan Cole, you've been in pain for 3 years. What's a little pain for me once?" She didn't reply. 5 minutes later, a voice message from him arrived. When Erica played it, she heard his hoarse voice. "Erica, the best thing that ever happened in my life was marrying you. And the worst thing was deceiving you. Don't be so good to me. I don't deserve it." Erica pressed the record button and said just one word. "Whatever." After sending it, she stood up and went back to his room. Ethan was propped up in bed, and when he saw her come in, his eyes turned red. "Why did you come back?" "To wait for the results," Erica said, sitting by his bed. "I'm not going anywhere until the results are out." Ethan took her hand. This time, his hand wasn't so cold. Maybe it was the IV, or maybe his heart had warmed up. A week later, the tissue typing results came back. Erica's bone marrow was a precedent match for Ethan's. It wasn't a perfect match, but it was close enough for a transplant. The doctor called it a miracle. The odds of an unrelated couple being a match were 1 in 100,000. Erica laughed. It wasn't a miracle, it was fate. Ethan looked at her, his eyes red. Erica, are you really going to donate? I think it's going to be very painful. I'm not afraid of the pain. I'm scared, Ethan said. I'm scared of you being in pain. Erica squeezed his hand. Ethan, do you know what I was most afraid of these past 3 years? It wasn't that you didn't love me. It was that one day, you would suddenly be gone, and I wouldn't even know why. Now that I know, I'm not going to let you go anywhere. Ethan closed his eyes. Tears streamed down his face again. This time, he didn't wipe them away. Erica reached out and wiped them for him. Don't cry. A grown man crying every day. I'm not crying, Ethan turned his head away. You're not crying? Then what's that sweat coming out of your eyes? Ethan finally smiled. It was the most peaceful smile Erica had seen in 3 years. A smile with no secrets, no hidden agenda, just pure. Erica? Yes? When I get better, let's get married again. Okay. Erica looked at him. I won't deceive you this time, Ethan said. No more secrets. I'll tell you everything. Even about Mia. Even about Mia? Yes, Ethan said. I'll tell you everything you want to know about her. Erica shook her head. No. I don't want to know. Why not? Because I don't care anymore, Erica said. I used to care. I used to think she was a threat. But now I know. She's just your past. And what I want is your present and your future. Ethan took her hand and placed it on his chest. You can have it, he said. The present, the future, all of it. The surgery was scheduled for 3 months later. During those 3 months, Ethan's condition fluctuated. The chemo made him violently ill, and he lost all his hair. But every time he saw Erica, he smiled. Erica quit her job to take care of him full-time. Her in-laws went back to their hometown, not wanting to be in the way. Mia returned to France. Before she left, she stopped by the hospital once to see Ethan. Erica waited in the hallway and didn't go in. When Mia came out, her eyes were red. Thank you, she said to Erica. For what? For taking care of him. He's my husband. It's my job to take care of him. Mia nodded. Erica, he's a good man. He's just not good at expressing himself. I know. Well, I'll be going now. I wish you both happiness. Mia turned and walked away. Erica watched her go, then suddenly called out to her. Mia Sterling. She turned back. You take care too. Mia smiled. A smile that seemed to have let go of everything. I will. On the day of the surgery, Erica lay on a separate bed. Before the anesthesia, she sent a message to Ethan. Don't be scared. I'm here. Ethan replied. Okay. One word, but this time, it felt very heavy to Erica. Heavy enough to support both of their lives. The surgery was a success. Ethan's bone marrow transplant went smoothly, with no signs of rejection. He spent a month in an isolation room. Erica saw him every day through the glass. They couldn't talk, but they communicated through text. Message. Ethan texted. When I get out, the first thing I'm going to do is hug you. Erica replied, first, you need to take care of your body. Ethan texted, when my body is better, the first thing I'm going to do is hug you. Erica smiled. Okay. A month later, Ethan was discharged. Erica went to pick him up. He was thin, and his hair hadn't grown back yet, but he was in good spirits. When he saw Erica, he opened his arms. Erica ran to him and hugged him tightly. Erica, thank you. You're welcome. And what else? Ethan let her go and took a small box out of his pocket. Inside was a ring. Not the old one, but a new one. Erica Evans, will you marry me? This time, for real. Erica looked at him. The sunlight was warm. The sun reflecting off his bald head. Looked a little funny, but she thought he was the most handsome man in the world. Yes. Ethan slipped the ring on her finger. It was a perfect fit. How did you know my ring size? I measured it secretly while you were sleeping, Ethan said. Many times. Every time I looked at your sleeping face, I would measure it once. Erica's eyes welled up. Ethan Cole, that's kind of creepy. Yeah. I'm a creep, he laughed. But you married me anyway. They stood at the hospital entrance. The sun shone on them, their shadows, stretching long and merging into one. Inseparable. 3 months later, Erica and Ethan filed for a marriage license again. This time, there was no wedding, no reception. They just took a photo together at City Hall. Erica wore a white dress, and Ethan wore a white shirt. His hair had grown back a little, but it was still short. After taking the photo, Ethan looked at it and said, "I look like a cue ball." Erica laughed. "A cue ball is fine with me." They left City Hall. The sun was pleasant. Ethan took her hand and walked ahead. Erica looked at his back and suddenly remembered a year ago. The day she found that airline receipt in this very place. At that time, it felt like the sky was falling. Now, she thought, the sky hadn't fallen. The dark clouds had just cleared. "Erika." "Yes? When we get home, I'll make dinner." "Can you cook?" "No. But I can learn." "That sounds nice." They walked down the street, their shadow stretching long. Erica looked down at their merged shadow, and smiled. The best kind of love wasn't one without lies, but one that had the courage to start over, even after the lies were exposed.